Oh, hello, hello. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We are so excited to have you guys at our spring showcase. We have a lot of really fun stuff in store for you guys, so we hope you all are entertained, and we're gonna go ahead and just kick it right off. So I'm gonna hand it off to Richard, and we are going to talk a little bit about our sponsors and partners. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. And so I want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors here. So Capital One, Uber, ACES, the Robert H. Smith School of Business, Center for Social Value Creation, Microsoft, Bloomberg, CodePath, and Do Good. I know Microsoft's in here, also CodePath, and the Center for Social Value Creation, Eileen Chen. Thank you all for supporting us. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to operate at the scale that we are operating at right now. And thank you so much. And so now I want to welcome Javid Fathi from Microsoft to the center stage. We've been working with Microsoft for a little under a year now, trying to develop, one, a corporate sponsorship, but two, a mentorship program that he'll go into. So if you all could help me by welcoming Javid Fathi to the stage.
Hey, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate the introduction. Like Richard said, my name is Javid Fathi, and I am a mentor and software engineer over at Microsoft. For those who don't know, haven't heard of Microsoft, it's a small software company headquartered in Washington State. We make important things like the internet. And but yeah, to get into all seriousness, Microsoft's mission is fundamentally to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. I can think of few organizations from a technical standpoint that model that than Hack4Impact right now on a fundamental level. So the story behind what we're doing here is last year around October, Richard and Sheldon came to Reston at the invitation of Andrea Evans and Nick Gramsci, some of the folks that are driving our partnership with the University of Maryland. And effectively, they had this idea to put together a mentorship pilot wherein software engineers and program managers at Microsoft would be able to come into the organization and basically mentor and partner with each of the student teams to drive better results, to advise on security best practices, and really drive more meaningful impact. This is beneficial for a multitude of regions, one of which is that Microsoft is able to match hours in terms of donations. So any hour that a Microsoft employee gives, Microsoft will match at, I believe, $10 an hour. 25. Wow, that's a lot. So $25 an hour. And so, but beyond that, the other part of this is it really also allows us as engineers who are working in platform engineering to see direct impact in a social context. So in this case, the partnership is kind of expanded beyond just one-on-one mentorship, and we've had the opportunity to now invite out students to multiple events. So recently, some of the students came and attended the Minority Student Day for Arlington County, and they were a huge help in driving that effort. They also made a show to the Hack for Good project in Washington State. And ultimately, what we're trying to drive here is a model of how to kind of create meaningful student relationships and create a bridge for engineers, the next generation of engineering, moving into spaces that really, hack for impact. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Really appreciate your work, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Javid. We're really excited to continue working with you all next semester. Next up, I do want to call the Robert H. Smith School of Business Center for Social Value Creation representative Eileen Chen to the stage. We welcomed them last semester for the showcase, and we're so happy to work with them again this semester.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Eileen Chen. I am currently a junior at the University of Maryland and pursuing a dual degree in finance and information systems. And here I'm representing the Center for Social Value Creation. So I work as the project management lead for the center. And just to get a little bit into what the center does, our mission is to educate, engage, and empower students to create a better world through business. So even though you guys are CS majors, you're always going to be working for a business. So to us, it's really important to educate students on that side of technical behavior. So to get into a little bit of what we do, I'm going to highlight 3 different initiatives that are pretty large for us. So the first one is the Impact Consulting Fellowship, which is an experience for students to get hands-on pro bono consulting for organizations that are like B corporations, impact-driven organizations, whether they're for-profit or nonprofit. And even though you guys are CS majors, we do have technical projects. So whether that be building out a UI or a website for a business. So if you guys are interested in that, our summer applications are actually open. And the second thing we want to highlight is our case competitions. So we host 5 different case competitions throughout the year as a center. The 2 most notable ones include the Smith Invitational Case Competition and the Interfraternal Case Competition. So with the Smith Invitational Case Competition, we actually send our winning team to the University of Washington, Tacoma, and Seattle to compete. And this past February, our team actually won the International Case Competition. And then we have the Interfraternal Case Competition, which is across all 4 business frats at the University of Maryland Smith School. And we usually have a huge sponsor for each semester that we host the case competition. So if you guys are interested, definitely look into joining a business frat because they are typically open to all majors. And we actually do have a lot of CS majors. And then lastly, we have a sustainability and business conference every fall. So it's an annual conference and it brings together faculty, alumni, industry professionals to just come together for a day talking about sustainability and business. Last semester, we had notable people like the Chief Sustainability Officer of Under Armour and the VP of Sustainability for Marriott. So this year, our conference is going to be on Friday, September 19th. If you guys are interested, definitely stay connected and look for a save the date later on in the summer. We're going to have a lot of cool speakers this semester. And yeah, this is our Instagram and LinkedIn. If you guys want to stay connected, we're very active on both platforms. And yeah, good luck today. We look forward to seeing your presentations and thank you for having us.
All right, thank you so much, Eileen. Lastly, I want to introduce CodePath, who just got here. We've been working with them since fall 2023, and we love welcoming them every single semester. And this semester, just like to get away, but they have a few courses that they would like to announce and a few other things. You want to take
Thank you. We've been joking that we have been on a DMV world tour. We were just at Anne Arundel Community College and then drove down the road to be here. So thank you all so much for having us.
Hi, my name is Henna Barra. Also, yeah, very similarly, we're like catching our breath, just made it to campus. But yeah, we are delighted to be continued sponsors of Hack4Impact. We've had such a lovely experience getting to see you guys grow through these different showcases, as well as the hackathon you did this spring. And for those of you that have been involved with Hack4Impact for a while, you probably have heard of us and some of our offerings, but we just wanted to kind of give you a high-level overview about what we're about and some of the resources that we have for you all.
All right. So my name is Tori Darby. I am Senior Manager of University Partnerships at CodePath. A little bit about our organization. CodePath, we are a nonprofit organization that supports students with helping you to break into tech spaces. We have about 30,000 students nationwide, a little over 900 students in the Maryland area. Fun fact, our organization recently received funding. We are working with the governor's office now to make sure that we are supporting students throughout Maryland and supporting you all with breaking into tech spaces and getting those early entry positions. But yeah, 30,000 students. Our students are representing over 700 plus organizations or universities. Most of our students are coming from underrepresented backgrounds. And we also, we're funded by a lot of different tech companies. So the way that we are able to run as tech companies are influencing, influencing our curriculum. They are teaching our courses. They are serving as mentors for students. They are hiring from our pipelines and really just making sure that we have additional opportunities for those students. So we have over 64 partners that we work with. We also, like I mentioned, have over 900 students coming from those 700 institutions. And then, as I mentioned, we connect them with those partners. So the same people that are funding us are also hiring those students. And then the students are working there and then actually coming back and supporting our programming, serving as mentors and instructors for our courses.
Thank you. Yeah, and to talk about some of the courses, so every course that you're seeing on this slide is available for you all to take for this summer. So we have technical interview prep, web development, iOS and Android mobile app development, as well as cybersecurity. The one thing of note is that we do have an offering that is coming to you guys late 2025, which is our AI native engineering course. So I know a lot of students have asked us previously on campus whether or not we will have an AI pathway. That is something that we are actively working on. And as Tori mentioned, outside of our courses, we have a variety of different student resources. We're also going to be outside tabling. So if you have any questions for us, we're more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You just made it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to Tori and Hannah for demonstrating, what the impact CodePath has on students like you all.
So now we're going to be appreciating some of the guests that are not going to be speaking. We do have a few more speakers, don't worry, but there are a lot of people here that aren't going to be coming up, and we want to thank you guys for being here. So a few people from Microsoft, we want to thank Hugo, Ryan, James, some of the mentors that are here, Brian, Brandy, Jamie Bowers, Javid, of course, already spoke, so I guess I'm kind of cheating on my rule of non-speaking guests. We have a representative from Angela Alsobrook's team, so thank you so much for being here. The Diamondback, Miguel Sorate is taking pictures. Hi, how's it going? And also Daniel is also taking pictures, and he's from Hack4Impact-UMD. And the CS department, so Noah Owens and Maria Johnson, thank you so much for all the work that you guys do. We really appreciate you being here and everything that you've done to help set us up for this. So thank you for that. And professors Kaufman and Fardina, thank you so much for being here. And also representatives from the Children's Cancer Foundation. Thank you guys also up there. So all that being said, let's keep on going. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the final project showcase is. So for anybody that might be new here, we are Hack4Impact at the University of Maryland. I hope maybe you've heard of what we are. And what we do is we build free software for nonprofits, assemble a bunch of project teams, work with DMV-based nonprofits often, and build them free software. And we're 130 members strong. And the purpose of this final project showcase is to highlight all of the hard work that our members do and the impact that these projects will have. So thank you guys for being here today with us. And we'll keep it moving. So we're going to talk about our showcase agenda right now. So a little bit about what's going to happen next is we're going to have a few more guest speakers. So the previous ones, those are sponsor speakers. And then we've invited a few more guests as well that will be speaking. And then we will have our bootcamp team talk about what they've been working on, our sourcing team talk. We're going to have our individual project team presentations, then live project demos, super fun. And then Pixel Prizes and graduating senior ceremony, very, very sad. We listen to Pomp and Circumstance, and it's a sad moment, especially for me after 7 semesters, but we're not there yet, so let's not be sad yet. And then we will be closing it out, and then there will be pizza and stuff in the lobby, but don't get too excited. We've got some stuff in between now and then. So we're going to start off by welcoming up Matthias Zwicker from the USCS department, the chair of the USCS, or the UMD CS department. So welcome up.
All right, thank you. This is really fantastic to be here today. I'm so excited to see all your project presentations. Of course, as chair of the department, I feel like my main responsibility is to the academic mission of the department, right? And now I should remind you to do all your homework and get good grades in your classes, because this is really what is important. But I have to tell you, I think I'm fully aware that what you're doing outside of the classroom at the University of Maryland and how you're engaging, in your community to build things like what you're doing at Hack4Impact, that is at least as important as what you do in your courses, probably more important, probably, more memorable later on. I hope you do remember something about the courses also, but I'm fully aware of the importance of this, and I'm extremely proud, and I feel like it's a huge privilege for us in the department to be the home of such a thriving student community. It is really very, very amazing, absolutely outstanding. There is Hack4Impact. There are so many organizations. Big shout out to things like Technica, Bitcamp, Code Black, Association of Women in Computing, all these organizations that have major events in the department, in our beautiful building here. So it's just a huge privilege, and I'm just here to give you all a shout out and express my support for what you're doing, and how proud we are of you. Most of all, of course, I would like to thank the leadership team of Hack4Impact for pulling this together. It is so impressive. I'm sure everyone will recruit you right away for these skills that you're showing here. I'm just very, very impressed. Finally, I would like to send a huge round of applause to all the graduating computer science seniors who are almost done. Huge shout out for you. I hope to see you soon at commencement later in May. I'll be up on stage there, shake everyone's hands. It's going to be more than 800 hands, so I'm going to be prepared. And now I'm very excited to see your project presentations. Thank you so much, and welcome.
Thank you so much. Awesome. So moving on, our next speaker, and thank you so much. I'm excited to shake your hand too, because I'm one of those graduating seniors. I keep getting reminded of this sad moment. But back to the main event. So we met James at the Hack for Good Summit, the Global Nonprofit Leadership Summit that Microsoft threw, and that was after the Hack for Good multi-month internal hackathon. And James works at Applied Information Sciences, and what you guys do is build a bunch of different applications. I'll let you talk about it a little bit more if you want to come up and talk. But he works a lot with nonprofits as well, and building using Microsoft services to build nonprofit tools. Sounds familiar, right? So I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me. It's great to be back on a college campus and see all of the energy here today. As the slide said, I'm James Joyce, Managing Director at AIS. I've been in IT consulting for about 25 years. For those of you who don't know what IT consulting is, it's people that use a lot of words to say things that people already know, but with a lot more slides. But Brandon said I have 4 minutes today, and the time is ticking here. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to speak briefly and not use any slides. I met the folks here at the Hack for Good, or the Global Nonprofit Leader Summit, and I was immediately struck by the energy and the passion that folks had for doing what they were doing. The curiosity then started to make me think back at my own career and what I have achieved. And I've been working and solving problems for 25 years for organizations using technology. But a few years ago, I started to question the impact or question the value of what I was doing. And I thought about some of the projects that I've done, a lot of projects for a lot of clients. And one project always stood out for me. At the beginning of COVID, the World Health Organization asked us, AIS, to help them build a digital clearinghouse. It was a very simple platform that helped them provide services to governments around the world in their response to COVID. And it wasn't flashy and it wasn't complex and it was definitely not the most interesting technical project in the world, but it had a lot of impact and it had a lot of meaning. And when I think about your guys, where you are and the passion that you have, I think that what you're doing today and what you are achieving, this is something that you're going to be able to look back on and you will have pride in what you've achieved at this moment. So congratulations for that. You know, technology is changing really, really quickly. AI is transforming how we're going to deliver solutions to our clients. And, you know, I think there's some concern that AI is going to make our jobs irrelevant. But here's the reality. The world is always going to need people that can connect with others and that can bring that humanity and to solve problems, to understand what the problems are and then to provide solutions. Human-centric design is going to be a key part of making sure that what we build is impactful. I had an opportunity recently to visit one of our offices, and I met somebody probably a year older than you folks. He was just out of college, and we were talking about all the different technical roles at our company, from full-stack developers to data engineers to analysts and so forth. And I asked him what he thought his role was. And he paused for a moment, and then he looked up and he said, I think I'm a problem solver. And I thought that answer was perfect because for me, it kind of embodies that, you know, the purpose of technology is to ultimately solve problems. It opens doors to allow us to figure out what the world needs and what our clients need, and then we can go and solve those problems. The humanity that I've seen you guys, the humanity in you and the passion that you have for doing what you're doing for these nonprofits is amazing. Congratulations for what you've done for the entire team, and I'm looking forward to seeing your projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, James. But of course, like, this wouldn't be all possible without our incredible team. And it's been such a great privilege to be able to work with this incredible executive board, all of you which are all here. I want to ask if you all could like rise and, you know, everyone join us as I help to recognize every one of these board members, from managing our engineering teams to product managers to sourcing and to education, our incredible bootcamp, and also finance and corporate sponsorship. We wouldn't do it without this incredible team. So if you all could rise and everyone join me in just like recognizing them all. Awesome. Thank you. And so now, next year, so the chapter will still be in good hands, and we're so excited for this new executive board. So Sheldon will be gone, he'll be graduating, but I'll still be here as senior advisor. But could you all join me in recognizing this new executive board? Yeah, please get up too. Yeah, please stand up. Yeah, I see you there. Awesome.
Let's do it again. Yeah.
Awesome. And so now I would like to welcome Krishnan and Gavin to the front. So when I went to bootcamp's graduation on Monday, I've seen the incredible work that both they've done and also our incredible bootcamp cohort. And they're going to just talk about more about what they've done, but incredible work that they've done. So.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So for the unacquainted, Bootcamp is a semester-long full-stack course that we teach to prepare our students for working in project teams. This semester, we had over 45,000 lines of code written, around 16.5 hours of instruction, 22 graduates, and 7 homework assignments.
And for the first time ever in bootcamp, instead of having students build a simple project, we instead extended it to a multi-week final project simulating a project team where bootcamp students built a full-stack e-commerce platform in 3 small teams. So the first one is Flutterbox,
And it's basically a blind box curation platform that aims to combat the confusion that users face in the oversaturated blind box industry by assisting users in finding the collections that they want and introducing them to new ones. The next one we have over here is Dormpop, and it's a variation on the popular thrifting platform called Depop, but instead it's catered towards college students seeking access to its more affordable resources. And they look not only to bring the campus community together through their platform, but also to provide an easy way to shop for a new college lifestyle. And the final one we have over here is Bobalicious, which is a platform for a hypothetical boba shop, which aims to reduce in-store traffic by putting more customers who may be deterred by the long wait times and crowds, and also by offering delivery and pickup options.
Now we'd like to quickly recognize all of our bootcamp graduates. So when we say your name, please make sure to stand up, and if everyone could hold all applause until the end. Thank you. So, Meena Rama, Harush Jain, Stuti Pardawala, Izzy Thomas, Layla Shakur, Abhinav Bapanapali, Ryan Zhao, Somya Jailwala, Sadayu Jiladamudi, Danya Desai, Pramukh Bhushan,
Esther Yu, Nishna Makala, Navina Pillai, Tanvi Tiwari, Alexis Tankad, Amber Lee, Angela Go, Elida Dogan, Savya Mariala, Shara Alam, and Asta Gautam. Congratulations, Bootcamp.
All right. Thank you, Krishnan and Gavin. I now want to welcome Nathan and Isabella to talk about sourcing.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nathan James. I'm a director of sourcing.
And hi, I'm Isabella Steinbach, and I'm also director of sourcing.
At the UMD Sourcing Hack4Impact team, we're responsible for NPO outreach. A lot of what we do is making connections with different nonprofits, assessing their needs, creating actionable project descriptions, and uniting those nonprofits with our engineers here to create viable software solutions. For our Hack4Impact sourcing team, some of our regular sourcing members include Aditya Senkar, if he wants to send up, Akhil Sethukarthi, Ashvita Saxena, Cassie Pan, Chloe Thompson, Meena Rama's dual, Neha Ratneval, Radha Kaushik, Ritika Pakaro, Shreya Gavarapatsu, and Vishesh Kari.
So next we also have our sourcing and bootcamp dual enrolled members. That's the first time that this is the first semester that we've ever done this program. It basically allows our sourcing members to also participate in our bootcamp program to gain technical skills while also doing nonprofit outreach. So it's the first semester we've done it. We have all 6 of our members graduating successfully, and we're very proud of them. And those members are Asta Gautam, Arush Jain, Isabel Thomas, Layla Shakur, Meena Rama, and Stuti Pardavala. And now I'll pass it off to Layla and Ashvita, who are going to talk about some statistics.
All right, so this semester we contacted 816 NPOs, which is up 413 from the fall and 575 more than we contacted last spring.
We have also engaged in 18 meetings with nonprofits, with 10 more currently in progress, and in total we've received 65 responses from NPOs.
So I wanted to share a bit about a recent site visit that we did to the Breastfeeding Center for Greater Washington. So we started off by grabbing some coffee and then headed over for an insightful tour led by Natasha Dodge, who is the program coordinator at BCGW. To see firsthand the impact that their nonprofit has was amazing. From loaning breast pumps to distributing donor milk, they do so much. And seeing all of that made our role at Hack4Impact even more meaningful, because the platforms that you guys build really helps these organizations and helps things run more smooth and reach out to more people. Afterwards, we headed to the White House, as you can see, to click a picture, and then wrapped up with tacos. But overall, the experience was extremely fulfilling and gave me a deeper appreciation for the real world impact that we do.
Okay, now we wanted to talk about the future of sourcing. So after a lot of discussion with exec, we decided that the future of sourcing for the long-term growth of our organization needed to shift. So coming in the fall, we'll be renamed into Public Relations and Outreach, where we will have different MPO outreach correspondents doing the bulk of the work we do, in addition to social media managers, which take direction with both the Instagram, LinkedIn, and maybe even TikTok. Our outreach correspondents will also, some of them will have a finance specialization, helping our directors of finance and sponsorship with whatever goals and initiatives they need for when it comes to our corporate sponsors.
We will also have a long-term growth specialization that we plan to add. These kind of members would be contacting past nonprofits that we've worked with to understand our impact and gain feedback on how our process went, with the hopes of eventually having an annual impact report for our organization. So all in all, this restructuring is basically just being done to ensure that we're improving our external relations in the organization and improving the impact that we're making to everyone. So thank you, and now I'll pass it off to Richard to talk about some of our projects.
All right, so now the order of presentations. So we're first going to start with Food for All DC. We're going to move to the Breastfeeding Center of Greater Washington, Breastfeeding Center for Greater Washington, Winrock International, Hack4Impact Application Portal Team, Camp Starfish, and lastly, the Children's Cancer Foundation. Oh. But first, we do want to welcome Graeme King from the Food for All DC team. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Graeme King.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, everyone. I'm Graeme. I'm a volunteer with Food for All DC. I've been volunteering with them since 2009. I'm also here with Peter Sage. Peter's our executive director, and he formed the organization in 1984. And so we just had our 40th anniversary. And if you want to find anything more about us, we'll have some annual reports at the demo booth after the presentations. So I want to talk a little thing about UMD, a kind of interesting connection we have with UMD. In the early 2000s, Food for All moved to our current location, which is a church basement on 16th Street in Washington, DC. And sorry, it's about a mile north of the White House. It's kind of very central. And we were a very small organization back then. We had 300 clients. We had about 3,000 deliveries a year. And we actually got a UMD student, a PhD student, to actually build an app for us. And so at the time, it was the kind of latest and greatest app. It used Google Maps integration. And it's actually still going now in some shape or form. It's kind of hanging together by threads, but it's still going. And it's really nice just to come full circle with UMD and have this official partnership. And just have a team of people build, an amazing team of people build a new app, a kind of thing that's going to take us forward and really help us in the future. So it's really been interesting for me also, because I'm actually a software engineer also. I've been a software engineer for 35 years. And I actually developed software before the internet, which is kind of hard to believe nowadays. There's not even Stack Overflow or anything like that. So it was an interesting time. And and yeah, on a number of occasions, I've had to resurrect the app that the UMD student built. I've basically had to do CPR on it like 4 times. And I'm really looking forward to this new app that's going to be a modern, more reliable, and just more robust, modern tool that we can use in Food for All. And it's also been interesting for me on the business. I'm kind of on the other side of the table now because I'm a business user. So it's been interesting for me to be part of the development and that kind of role. And as you know, can we go back one slide, guys? As you know, we had our Hack4Impact team volunteer with us right through the entire month of April. As you can see, Brandon, thank you very much for organizing that. We had 4 teams come over April, and we'll be continuing in May. And I think on behalf of Peter and myself, I think we can say it's been a profoundly enriching experience for us, and I hope for the team to come and volunteer and see the program, see the process. I think it's a really good idea to, if possible, to try and do this, at the start of a project in the future for Hack4Impact, because it really helps you understand the business and the processes And I know some of our team leads had some kind of light bulb moments as they saw the process and understood how we operated, and I think that helped build the app. So that was really good. And yeah, so I hope you guys can keep coming, and they're always welcome to come. I'm just going to close and say I just want to thank everyone again for their efforts. For our team, it's been an amazing experience. I'm really looking forward to this new app and seeing it work and help our business. And I really want to give a shout out to Jamie Bowers, who was the Microsoft mentor on our project. And I would like to thank you, Jamie, for all the hard work. Jamie kept us in line and kept the team in line and really helped build and deliver what we have today. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to, I think we're going to welcome the team on stage now. So let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm Laksha. I'm one of the PMs on the project. I'd like to thank Graeme for his really kind introduction into our presentation. During our presentation, we'll be going over a brief overview of our project, the design aspect, the engineering work, the impact, and future goals. So this is our team of engineers, designers, and tech leads, as well as our advisor who've all been working really hard on bringing this project to life. Just a quick recap, Food for All DC is a volunteer-run organization that has been delivering groceries to homebound residents in the DC area since 1984. Their work is especially important considering that 20% of the DC population is food insecure. And Food for All DC has been helping 1,500 people every week, serving 21,000 households every year, and helping over 600,000 delivering over 600,000 pounds of food every year. So they currently rely on a custom-built client database and scheduling application that has been developed in PHP and MySQL and is run on a Linux platform, but this platform is really outdated and runs into a lot of technical issues. So we were tasked with modernizing, consolidating these applications into a single user-friendly solution. The system manages client data in real time, optimizes delivery routes based on availability and driver location, and streamlines the overall scheduling process. So last semester, we were able to lay the groundwork and foundation so that we could build the system's core framework. That way, this semester, we could flesh out all of our main deliverables.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditi, a co-designer on the team, and this semester we focused on modifying existing client intake pages while also adding more to them to minimize pain points and also streamline key processes. As you can see in the images, we added a lot more pages and components throughout the semester. And just to highlight one of the main pages, we worked on the calendar view page where we added a day and a monthly view, where admins are able to easily add, modify, and delete deliveries, similar to a Google Calendar functionality. And we also added a drop-down for user functionality.
Hi, I'm Soan. I'm one of the code designers on the team, and we did not have a fully developed route management page, so I was able to design and build upon the previous existing foundation from the previous semester. And so we completely redesigned our interface. We were able to incorporate a map as well as incorporate functionality through buttons such as the export, cluster, assigning driver, assigning time buttons, as well as finalizing the fields that the MPOs needed in order to access and manage client profile and client information based on our database. And some of the challenges that we encountered were the continuous evolving rounds of iterations that we had to, and when we were communicating with the MPOs within the strict timeline that we had, but we were able to overcome that with by thoroughly communicating with our team and prioritizing our deliverables so that they are ensured delivery on time.
Hi, I'm Subrat. I'm one of the tech leads on this project. Our tech stack consists of three main parts. The front end is Material UI design along with React and TypeScript. Our back end is Firebase and GCP, where we store our user data, along with where we host our Firebase functions for the route management. And our APIs are the Google Autocomplete, the Google Geocoding, and the DC Ward, which is what we use to primarily store and access and process our user data regarding addresses. And one of the things that we're really proud of this semester is, as I just mentioned, the clustering Firebase functions that our engineers worked on to develop the core route management functionality of the project, along with the 70+ engineer tasks that were completed over the course of the semester, and all of our engineers coming out to join us with the hack-along with Jamie during the Hack4Impact hackathon.
Hi, my name is Will Josh. I'm one of the engineers on the team. On a few of the pages that we worked on was the login page, which allows for administrators to sign in using their email and password. And this authentication is provided by Firebase. And then once upon logging in, you're redirected to the client database. Another page was the user management page, which allows for administrators to manage account roles and page access. And these roles include admins who have super admin privileges, managers who manage client intake, and then client intake who have access to the calendar and clients page, but not the route page.
Hi, I'm Varun. I'm also an engineer on the team. I worked on the client database page, which was a centralized area to view all client information, search for specific clients, and edit or create new clients. Some of the key features include a dynamic column, which is basically a drop-down to choose data types. We also had add and remove columns using specific icons to decide what you want to show. We had phrase search, which allows you to search for exact phrases by enclosing terms and quotes. And then we also had search integration, which is dynamic columns that are included in the results for more comprehensive filtering.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel, also another engineer. And the profile page is pretty much where we take in necessary client information. Some of the features are tags, where you can add any sort of tag for a client and remove it. We also use place autocomplete to autocomplete our address fields. There's also a referrals feature where you can add and select people who refer clients. Dietary preferences is very important because we need to know what clients can have in terms of food and what they can't. And we use checkboxes for that. And finally, TFAP certification, which is a certification that our clients need to receive food. So if that's running out, then we automate an email to remind them that they need to get it fixed.
Hi, my name is Ishan. I'm an engineer on the team, and I worked on the calendar page. And basically, the calendar page has a couple of components to it. It has like a month view, where you can see right now it's like a big overall view of the number of deliveries for a month and the limits for the maximum number of deliveries you can have for a day. It'll also show for limits being exceeded. And you can also edit. You can press the edit limits button, which will let you edit the limits for a specific day or for a specific weekday, like all Fridays in the future. And also, aside from the month day, if you click on a specific date, it'll let you navigate to a more comprehensive day view, where it'll show all the deliveries for a specific day. And you can also use the calendar icon at the top left to navigate. And you can also add deliveries. Adding delivery, you can schedule it, and you can also check which client you want it to go to.
Hi, my name's Evan. I'm one of the engineers on the team, and I worked on the route management page, which allows admins to strategically assign deliveries to routes in order to optimize delivery efficiency. And some of the key features we included was the calendar icon to kind of navigate in between different days and see different deliveries for that date. Then we also have the ability to generate customizable and optimal clusters using a Python algorithm. And those clusters are then displayed on the map with the delivery locations being a color-coded marker based on their cluster. And then we also wanted to give the MPO complete control in case they wanted to do everything themselves instead of our algorithm. So we gave the option to manually assign clusters like this as well.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm also an engineer, and I also worked on route management. I made the spreadsheet view, which is basically displays all the client data. under, and then there's also a search function for querying certain clients. And then after that, you're able to select a client, and then it'll also select all the other clients in the cluster. And you're also able to assign a driver to deliver for that cluster, as well as a time for when the driver should arrive at the center. And then in addition to that, you can also select multiple clusters as shown and assign a driver. And then lastly, I also created an export feature button, which basically compiles a list of spreadsheets for the necessary driver.
Hello, I'm the other tech lead, co-tech lead. My name's Steven, and here's some, challenges we had while building out this project. First and foremost, the main challenge we had was preventing scope creep by controlling unplanned tasks and making sure when adding new requirements, we were able to complete them in time. Another challenge we had was finding solutions to keep the GCP and Firebase costs down for the NPO. We did this through proper state management as well as caching. And then our third main issue was, managing continuous updates and the different fields we had to add to the profile page throughout the semester. And then our final main issue was ensuring scalability and maintainability throughout the code base as we were merging in PRs.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris. I'm one of the co-PMs on this project. I'll be going over the impact for today. So some of the quantifiable achievements that our application has improved on over the past database. For the client intake process, we were able to reduce data entry time by 30%. And this is achieved by automating tasks and streamlining the intake process. For the admins and manager side of things, we obviously had that amazing Python clustering algorithm to create group deliveries into different routes. Additionally, we have a driver CSV exports feature, so easily can export DoorDash routes or Food for All driver routes very easily. And lastly, one of the big important things that we are proud to say is that we estimate 5 hours a week saved across intake, route creation, and driver assignment. So what is in the future for Food for All? What's next? So what's next would be we want to do a testing phase with a real client intake and admins to validate that our application is meeting their needs. Additionally, we want to transfer all the old client data into the new database. Third, we want to interestingly prepare a demo proposal for the DOH because our application has to meet their standards. And so we'll be working with them to make sure our application is good. Lastly, we prepare for production launch with Food for All expected August 2025. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You can really see the direct impact. It's really beautiful. You can see how it's going to simplify and streamline the process. So that is so awesome. Awesome. So next up, we are going to be welcoming up the Breastfeeding Center of Greater Washington. This team is the majority of this team is the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, that previous team. And they're super, super excited to be showing you what they're working on. And yeah, I'll just hand it off to them. They'll take it away.
Thanks, Sheldon. Hi, everyone. So as Sheldon explained to you all, we are the team that's working with the Breastfeeding Center for Greater Washington, building them a data dashboard. This is our team. And on our agenda for today, we'll be talking a little bit about the background of our client, an overview of our project, the features that we've implemented so far, and the impact our project will have and our future goals going into next semester. So moving on to background, I'll pass it off to Megan.
So the Breastfeeding Center for Greater Washington, or BCGW, they're a DC-based NPO of about 50 employees, and their mission is to support families from pregnancy through early parenthood. They're able to support a lot of families this way through offering a lot of community offerings like lactation consults, group classes like how to breastfeed, how to care for your baby, and equipment like milk pumps and baby scales. So to offer all of these services, they use a lot of tools on their end, which you can see next to each of the services. And in each of these tools, they'll have an admin dashboard of sorts where they can customize offerings and review some user engagement, but only for that service specifically. So now I'll go through an example of what it looks like for a BCGW employee, let's say Katie, to use these services to check on how a client is doing. So if they want to see if the client has attended enough consults, they would have to look at Jane. And to see if the client has attended the right classes, they look at Acuity and maybe Stripe. And to see if the client has rented and purchased the right equipment that they were recommended from their consults, they would have to look at Square and PaySimple. So as you can see, employees have to look at a lot of different places just to check on one client. And that's the first problem that BCGW faces. It's hard to see client interactions across services. And the second problem they face is that the dashboards they have for these services currently, for each service separately, they don't give enough information on some analytics they need. For example, for PaySimple, employees can't even know what the average rental duration is for each item. And in Acuity, they can't even know what classes are most popular during each trimester of pregnancy. So the solution we're proposing is a BCGW data dashboard, which basically takes all the information from these services they use and puts it all in one place for employees to see. It solves the first problem by providing a client journey page to see client activity across services, and it solves the second by having more dashboards with further analytics to answer the questions that they currently don't have access to. And now I'll pass it off to the designers and tech leads to talk about an overview.
Just to give an overview of what we were thinking with this site, we wanted a consolidated space where users could switch between different dashboards of all the different services and view the data visualizations and data analytics that we would have pulled from each one. So our priorities here really included readability and ease of interactions, and especially making sure these visualizations were clear and it was easy to interact with the analytics.
Yep. And then another consideration we made was accessibility, as one of our users is legally blind. So we wanted to make sure our color schemes all highly contrasted.
Yeah, so our project was built using React, TypeScript, and Tailwind CSS for the front end. Because our dashboard uses a lot of data visualizations, we use ReaVis, which is a data visualization component library based on D3.js. Our build tool was V, and our backend as a service was Firebase for our database, hosting, and authentication.
Yeah, and then really most of our challenges came from we're building a data dashboard, so we have a lot of data sources, and they all have different pros and cons that come with those, especially in the health space. There's a lot of outdated tech. So the EMR that BCGW uses, or the electronic medical record, has no open API that is HIPAA compliant. So they, the employees would need to retrieve that data from CSV. For the APIs that we do have, there's limited service for those. The ones that do have service, like Acuity, those allowed us to really get to the meat of those engineering tasks in displaying that data for employees at BCGW. I'm going to hand it off now to our engineers and designers to talk about features.
Okay, so we have our Jane page, which displays client visit and consultations throughout the first 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. And the goal here was to see where are we losing clients. One of our challenges was how do we display retention rate? And we opted for a funnel chart instead of a cohort table, just so we can see that decline in clients over time.
Okay, so as the tech leads mentioned earlier, Jane was the data source where the NPO will have to upload a spreadsheet. And for that, we ran into some challenges because the formatting from Jane was not always consistent. So when connecting the backend, we had to implement functions to clean the data.
We had a lot of libraries in mind in how to implement these different graphs and charts. However, we ran into a lot of issues when it came to compatibility because React 19, the version that we were using, was a little bit on the newer side. And so after a lot of testing, we decided that the best option for this application was to switch our version for React. And back to the designers.
The next dashboard we were working on is for PaySimple, which is meant to show the different items that clients can rent. And the goal here was to see how long different items are rented for and the trends with each of the different items the organization provides. So we opted for a simple bar chart and very simple table design, and also allowed the user to toggle between time units to show the information as they wanted it to be displayed. And I'll pass it off to an engineer to talk about the tech side.
Yeah, I implemented the front end for the dashboard with PaySimple. We weren't able to integrate the back end and front end, so I did mock data for both months and weeks, and Rahul will talk more about those challenges. But I made sure all the buttons have proper functionality, conditional rendering for the graph and table toggle, as well as different data for months and weeks, as well as using a date object. When the user would click on a date, it would calculate the proper week, and it would change the title and data proper to that.
So for PaySimple's backend, we started off by researching the different API endpoints to use to display the data depending on what we wanted. We spent a lot of time troubleshooting just because we did face some challenges. Some of our major challenges was we found it difficult to communicate with BCGW and PaySimple. And so we also didn't have access to the real data as well. So this led to a lot of ambiguity in our tasks, and it made it hard for us to move forward with implementation and testing. So we're going to be working a lot more with PaySimple next semester once we communicate details and gain more access to more information.
Okay, and our Acuity page displays information about childbirth and pregnancy classes. So the goal here was to see which classes and instructors are most popular over a period of time. One thing we had to consider was how many classes BCGW offers. They offer over 27 classes. So we wanted to make sure the data we're displaying, one, isn't clustered, and two, you could still see the trends within time. And so we opted for a line chart, and then we used a stacked bar chart for this. And then another factor that we included was filters. And this way we can categorize classes and also reduce cluster.
So to implement these features, we had to create an API call, which we use to gather the data for the classes. So that includes the class name, the class type, the instructors, and the dates. And then we collected this raw data and we used the Revis library to create 3 key visualizations, which showed the class attendance by trimester, the class population, and the instructor popularity.
Additionally, we wanted to use Acuity to retrieve information related to the baby, such as birth date, due date, and birthing location. However, some difficulties we faced was consolidating all that information into a single data set, because some of the questions that the NPO gave to the clients were very variable, such as one client might receive a question that said, what is your due date / birth date, while another client might receive those as 2 separate questions. And I'd now like to hand that back to the designers.
One of the last features we worked on designing was a client journey page, which would give a summary of all of the client's interactions with BCGW to allow them to see what typical journeys a client might take through the page. We opted for simple table designs for this, showing interactions with each service. And I believe I will pass it back to the PMs to talk about impact and future goals.
Thanks, Aleida. So in terms of our impact, the aggregated data that our dashboard will display will be used for BCGW to make strategic decisions, for them to use that information for grant proposals, and also just generally to get more funding. And this will basically help them continue to provide these wonderful free services for their community. And moving into the future, on the terms of the engineering side, there's some API setup that we need to finish. There is some login configuration in terms of 2-factor that we'll be wrapping up. And there's also some backend for key pages that we will be finishing next semester. And then on the design side, the data analytics need to be touched up a little bit, and there's some component formatting we're still working on. Thank you for listening to our presentation. And we also wanted to give a special thanks to our Microsoft mentors and our BCGW point of contacts.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys have really done a great amount of work for being in your first semester. So awesome. Up next, we are going to be learning about Winrock International. So Winrock is a global nonprofit that's dedicated to empowering people from underserved populations and protecting the environment and promoting sustainability. And what Winrock's team is working on is improving the client and supplier communication process. They're working on a variety of forms and building an amazing system to help ensure that the storage of project information and other details is safe.
Thanks for that intro, Sheldon. So, hi everyone. My name is Faith. I'm one of the product managers for the Winrock team. This is the rest of my amazing team. And this semester, we worked with Winrock International, who leads more than 100 sustainability projects in over 140 different countries. Winrock partners with corporations like Nestle in order to audit their supplier emission reduction activities. And their current process for doing this is based in using Excel sheets and sending them to their clients and suppliers via email. And this raised several concerns for Winrock, especially in two main areas of pain points: user experience and reliability, as well as communication efficiency. And given that, we decided to create an application with three main features: login authentication system, client intake forms, as well as an admin dashboard. So now I'm handing it off to our design team to tell you more.
Hi, I'm Indira. I'm a designer in the Winrock team. One of our biggest challenges this semester was understanding the complicated project process, which involved emailing forms and documents between three stakeholders. To counter this issue, we created a detailed user flow, which allowed our entire team to completely understand the process. We refined this process during our earlier meetings with Winrock, and we were able to cut back on any unnecessary back and forth with NPO.
Hi, I'm Nainika, and another huge part of the role the designers got to do this semester was meet weekly with Winrock during our NPO meetings so that we could closely align ourselves with their evolving needs. By frequently checking in, we were able to define and design every feature that you'll be seeing later on in the presentation by receiving iterative feedback. So this close collaboration made sure that we were developing a relevant product that stayed relevant to Winrock's workflow.
Hi, I'm Samandra. So this semester, we were still laying the groundwork for a lot of the features, and a really important part of that was conducting usability tests. We were able to interview and test our initial prototypes with 3 Winrock employees. This helped us uncover unexpected pain points and gather valuable feedback that is going to help us with our design iterations next semester. I'm going to hand it off to our tech leads.
Hi, I'm Debarshi.
And I'm Hita, and we're the tech leads for Winrock. And we're now going to talk a little bit about the tech stack. So the product tech stack spans both backend and front end. We use technology such as TypeScript, Firebase, Vite, and React. For the backend, we primarily use Firebase as our database, and Firebase was also used to support a variety of other functions, such as user access management, information storage and retrieval, authentication system for both the forms and the dashboard, as well as the notification system. And the notification system did also use a third-party API to send email notifications to both the clients and suppliers.
And then for the front end, we used React and TypeScript. React allows with like modularizing components, which means that a bunch of people can develop at the same time, use other people's components, and kind of reduce that like repeated effort. And then TypeScript is just really convenient to use for the typing. And so now I'll pass it off to the engineers to discuss their work.
Hey guys, I'm Rishi, I'm one of the engineers. And when it comes to the authentication system, initially Winrock didn't want a login system for their dashboard. And their previous system was that when the client submitted the forms, the client couldn't edit it after it was submitted. And this created a lot of inefficiency because Winrock would have to go in and make those changes themselves. So by incorporating a login system, the client and Winrock itself can simultaneously edit forms, and when they do log in, they also get permissions based on whether they're administrator, client, or supplier on their dashboard.
Hi, I'm Kavya, an engineer, and I'll be talking about the different forms that we made for Winrock. So these are the project proposal forms for agriculture and renewable energy, which Winrock uses to assess potential collaboration. So before, these were long and a bit confusing Excel spreadsheets, but we turned them into more user-friendly forms. And then we also have the risk and co-benefit forms, which we followed a very similar process for.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'll be talking about the Winrock dashboard. So once those forms are submitted to Winrock, the dashboard will provide a centralized overview, a very clear overview of all the project information all in one place. And that makes tracking progress very easy. Now, instead of sifting through various Excel sheets to find specific information, the dashboard allows for instant filtering through categories such as project status, and also sorting by various date and supplier name options. With direct table editing, Winrock employees can also update key project details in real time without having to change any systems, and that reduces errors and saves time.
Hi, I'm Srinidhi, and on the Winrock dashboard, we also have a KPI section. KPIs, or key performance indicators, are metrics that can help organizations measure their success towards specific goals. So to provide Winrock with an easy-to-view snapshot and real-time updates of their KPIs, we update our graphs as projects are added or edited, and this will help provide more attention to areas that they need to work on.
Hi, I'm Suhani, and I'll be talking about the project view. So on the Winrock dashboard, when a project is clicked, it leads to this view, which displays additional information about the project. This separation of the dashboard and project view keeps the dashboard clean and simple. On this project view, there's a project progress tracker, which allows Winrock to keep track of the progress that their clients have made on the forms. And there's an update section, which facilitates communication between Winrock and its suppliers and clients.
Hi, I'm Leia. So on the project view, the user can open this access management pop-up, which provides a really easy way for them to share a project with other accounts. Because before, Winrock was sharing project forms and updates via email, which made it difficult to keep track of which clients and suppliers actually had access. So now they can view all those details here, and to further streamline their process, we show an autocomplete menu of other user suggestions. And to prevent against errors, we instantly check whether an email really exists in our database before they add them.
Hi, my name is Arjun, and going back to the projects dashboard, Winrock employees can use the projects in archive search feature. Users can easily locate projects by typing in the search bar, which provides autocomplete suggestions as they type. The archive feature provides a clean way to organize projects by creating a focused dashboard that separates the current projects from the archive projects. This is going to increase team efficiency by clearing out visual clutter and allowing team members to focus on current projects.
Hi, I'm Om. So besides the project section of the dashboard, Winrock employees can use the sidebar to quickly jump over to the notification center. So this page saves employees from the hassle of back and forth emailing by providing a central location for all project updates. So they can switch between read notifications, all and unread sections to stay on top of everything. And we also use the SMTP to Go API to send emails for every notification.
Hi everyone, I'm Kalpana and I'm the other product manager for this team. So I'll talk a little bit about the impact that our project has had for Winrock and their clients. So one thing that we've been able to do is remove the need for long back and forth communication between Winrock and clients, as well as the previous Excel spreadsheets that they'd been using. We've also created a centralized hub through which Winrock can see projects and metrics that are important to them. And overall, we've made collaboration with Winrock easier for Winrock clients and suppliers. Of course, we have many goals that we'd like to accomplish in the future, so I'll talk a little bit about what we'd like to accomplish next. First, we'd like to finish fleshing out our project view, finishing the messages between Winrock and the clients on the dashboard, as well as more notification types and finishing the emails. Next, we'd like to establish our entire client view and login, creating a dashboard where clients can access and edit their forms and also communicate with Winrock on their side. We'd also like to create form builder capability where Winrock would be able to add and edit questions as essentially be able to create forms from scratch. We'd like to polish our admin dashboard that currently exists by modifying our KPIs with better data visualization and more relevant metrics. Finally, we would like to implement some form of version control and file history so that Winrock can access previous files and data. Thank you guys for listening to our presentation, and we look forward to continuing this project into the future. Thank you.
Awesome. Amazing work, Team Winrock. Way to put on for the environment and sustainability and all that stuff. So really awesome. I love the UI there, very clean. So next up is our application portal team. So you might have heard of this nonprofit. It's called Hack4Impact at the University of Maryland. And last semester we got over 250 applications. And it is very tedious, the current process, all manual, lots of spreadsheets, et cetera. And so about a year ago or a little bit ago, we realized it's time to change and we started getting the ball rolling. And yeah, and that's how we got to this project where we're revamping the way that our application process goes. So I'll hand it off to the team now. Yeah, the Hack4Impact-UMD application portal.
Awesome, thank you. Perfect, and then slides. Will the slides go if I just click? Awesome, hello everyone. We are the Hack4Impact application portal team, and we're super excited to be presenting with you all today. So first, to just give you a strong overview of what we'll be discussing today. Firstly, we're going to be addressing the problem and opportunity. Secondly, we'll be talking about the designing towards the solution. Thirdly, we'll be hitting on the engineering and development of that said solution. And then finally, we'll be hitting the future impact. So firstly, this is our wonderful team. My name's Jack Burke. I'm one of the product managers here. Our team will introduce themselves as we go down. So firstly, I want to talk a little bit about the problem and opportunity space that we're in. So currently, we're working with Hack4Impact-UMD, but specifically our Director of Recruitment, Aryan Patel. So as the Director of Recruitment, Aryan oversees the recruitment process from start to finish. Now, to give you a little bit of an idea of what this looks like, firstly, Aryan creates the application in collaboration with the board, and then the application opens. From here, we start receiving individual responses in a 33-page Google form that applicants fill out, which is then submitted as a single line in a Google Sheet. Now, within this, Aryan then manually assigns members of the review board to a single application to read through the entire application and then use another Google form to then score that said application. Now, with those scores finally in place, with 250 plus applications, we then have to figure out who's getting interviews. And so there we have to go, let's say we have 5 PM slots that we need to fill for this upcoming semester. Now we want to interview about 7, 8, 9 to really make sure that we can pick some quality candidates. Then we go about conducting those interviews, and then finally the board then deliberates and notifies the applicants of their decisions. Now, there's a lot of pain points for both our Director of Recruitment and members of the review board within here. Firstly, there is a ton of frequent manual entry as Aryan must single-handedly assign every single reviewer to every single application. Reviewers must also manually click to Control F and find that applicant in the giant mess of Google form responses. Within this, we also have a bunch of hard-to-find materials. We have responses, scores, Google Forms, Google Sheets spread across a ton of different Google Drives. It's impossible to find anything. And then lastly, just general application volume. As we said, we've received 250 plus applications. This number is always going to continue to grow as Hack4Impact grows, and we need a system that can handle this volume. But there's also a second stakeholder that we have to acknowledge within this, and that's the applicants. Right now, they deal with a 33-page Google form. This is incredibly lengthy and something that could absolutely be cut down on. In addition, there's a general lack of status updates for applicants as they go through the process. Generally, they don't receive any notification of their decision unless they're notified that they got an interview until the end. And so our team has identified 2 main opportunities that our team can capitalize on within this. Firstly, we want to help support our applicants. We really want to look to improve the application experience, and we really want to make sure that we can draw in talent and not drive them away with too long of a Google form. Secondly, for our director of recruitment and reviewers, we really want to centralize information to make that process as informed and intelligent as possible. And now I'll be passing it on to our design team to talk about how we approach this.
Sure. Thanks, Zach. Hi, guys. I'm Pradeep, and I'm one of the designers. Okay. So from the pain points that Zach has mentioned, so we came up with a design. We came up with a solution of shortening the entire application by adding more drop-downs and using pill-based UI. So that reduces for a shorter scroll, and we now have a progress bar that gives feedback to the applicants, and through this we reduce the entire application process from 33 pages Google form to just 4 steps. Okay, good. And we now have a status page for the applicants to get live updates of their state of their application, and the applicants can even go view their previous iterations as well. Now, one of the major pain points that the director of recruitment has is that the responses and scores are scattered across 2 spreadsheets and 1 Notion page, and this is just one of those. I'm going to pass it on to the other team member, the co-designer. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sohaya. I'm the other designer on this team. To solve that problem, we created a dashboard where we color-coded all the roles for better clarity. We have separate tabs for the reviewed and the qualified members who have moved into the interview stage. We also have a centralized view for all the reviewers and the interviewers on this dashboard. Through this design, we've cut down 2 Google Sheets and 1 Notion page down to 4 tabs. The reviewers who have to look into all the applications also have an equally long process. They need to go into the Google Sheets, view the application, click Control F to find it, then open the response and open the scoring forms separately, and then switch between both those forms to read and score the applications. To solve this problem, we created a dashboard where you can grade the applications side by side and complete them faster by getting to the relevant pages ASAP. Through this, we've reduced a 6-step process down to 2 steps. Now I'm passing it on to the tech leads.
Hi, I'm Lance. I'm one of the tech leads. We'll be talking about the engineering development side of the app. So the tech stack and code were mainly inherited from a previous team. We have the standards you've been hearing about all day: React, Firebase, Node, and TypeScript. We're also using TanStack Query, which is a state management library that basically makes it easier for us to fetch data from the backend. Yeah, Rami and I, the other tech lead, we also mainly worked on the database and backend design. This basically, other than what the designers just talked about, mainly involved trying to replicate all the features you would expect from Google Forms and translate it into a better user experience for the reviewers and applicants. We basically came up with a schema where the forms are stored in Firebase, which allows them to be redesigned and redeveloped every semester. And yeah.
And yeah, adding on, my name is Rami. I'm the co-tech lead for this project. One of the important parts of the project was account management and authentication. We have 3 different user roles, each with different permissions. So making sure that each role can only access the data that they're allowed to is an important part. So we made sure to implement robust authentication verification so that applicant and review data were private and secure. And along with that, we were also responsible for some miscellaneous tasks throughout the project, including putting all the engineer tasks together and integrating them into one working piece, and also assigning and reviewing the engineer task as well.
Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I'm an engineer here. And so I worked on the login page. So basically how it works is it allows applicants and admins to log into their appropriate sections in the website, which is either the review dashboard or the application status and submission. New members can create an account after correctly completing a sign-up form, and this information is saved in the database in Firebase. If users forget their password, a simple code is sent to their email, and after verification, they can go ahead and just reset it. Some challenges that I faced during this was building reusable text box and button components to allow for different widths and heights, as well as creating correct input validation for the text boxes on each form.
Hey everyone, my name is Krishna and I'm an engineer on this project team. I worked on bringing the application process to life. So once the user opens up our application, they're presented with an overview of the application they use to apply for Hack4Impact. Once they click on the apply button, they're presented with the entire application. I developed all the components seen here on the screen, as well as developed the code that brings data from Firestore and transforms it into tangible, fillable components for our user. And there's also the ability to auto-save responses so that users can return at any time. I faced two main challenges, which is building all the different component types for this application, and also ensuring that the database relationships between the application, section, and question data are accurately reflected on the front end. And I dealt with this by tackling each phase part by part, testing each part until I got it correctly, and working with the tech leads to do so.
My name's Daniel, and I'm also an engineer. And I worked on the applicant side for the status page. And this page allows applicants to review their current and past applications, and it displays application details such as their current status, submission date, and the roles that they applied for. And I separated the page into two main components, the status page and the application row. The status page was kind of like a general outline of the page, and the application row fetched from the back end the application details. And the main challenge I faced developing this page was matching the timeline status with the indicator flag.
Hi everyone, my name is Sangeeta and I worked on the reviewer side. So basically how it works is reviewers can access their applicant overview where they can see all the applicants' information like role, name, and score. And there's also the progress bar, which is at the top where reviewers can see the number of applications out of the total applicants. And you can also filter by applicant's name or specific role. And also reviewers can sort by specific date, name, or calculating overall score. And some of the challenges were like incomplete data, specifically like missing score information.
Hi, my name is Edward. I'm an engineer. I mostly worked on the back end for the reviewer side. So the way it works is that an application and a reviewer gets paired together in the back end, and then the reviewer can see the answers of each applicant, as you can see in the image. And then the reviewer will then score the applicant on different attributes. Once submitted, this will either create or update an existing review for the application. One of the challenges we faced during this was making sure the front end types were merged to the back end correctly, since the structure is a little bit different.
Hi guys, I'm Charu. I'm an engineer and I worked on the Director of Recruitment dashboard. And on this dashboard, it's basically just a really organized overview where reviewer and applicant data are dynamically fetched and displayed on the data table. So it'll show all the applicants' names, what role they applied for, and then the two reviewers' names, and then the scores that the reviewers gave them. And then scores, something that I had to take into account is that scores are calculated differently based on what role that they applied to. So if they were applied to like be a designer, you know, like creativity aspect, and like if they applied to be sourcing, like, you know, an NPO score would, like the reviewer would give them an expertise in NPO score. And then also on the data table, they have the average scores calculated in the last column. And then you can see there's buttons at the top that have all the different roles, and they show like the total number of applicants that applied to each of those roles. So when you click on each of those buttons, as you can see on the bottom image, it filters by like the role. And then there's also a search bar. So if you want to just search by an applicant name, you can easily find a certain applicant. And then one challenge that I faced was just confusion about how reviewer scores were handled, just because of how many times it was changed as like we developed the website.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm an engineer here. I also worked on the Director of Recruitment dashboard, but on the back-end part. So what we did in this part is that we used Firebase as the back-end, which stored all the applicant data, and we used that to retrieve any information that we needed about those specific applicants. Then we wrote an async function to pull all the applicant data from there, and we loaded that information in so that it would be shown in the front end accordingly, depending on what position they're applying for and other things of that sort. Some of the some of the challenges faced was dealing with some missing data. So for example, if an applicant forgot to fill out a specific part, how would we go about this? And we would probably run into errors when doing calculations a little later for things such as the applicant score as well. So what I did for this was that I added dummy data and some null scores.
Hi guys, I'm Nakshatra. I'm a co-PM on the team, and this is the future impact that this project has on Hack4Impact. So firstly, what this does is it allows for faster processing of applicants for each role in this process. What that means is that every individual throughout this application process has a way more simplified role now. So the director of recruitment can assign reviewers faster to applications. Reviewers can review said applications faster, and we can get responses out to applicants faster. So all of these smaller components of the application process being made more efficient actually allows for a greater net increase in the amount of applicants that we are, or the amount of talent that we are processing and recruiting. Secondly, this is also equipped for higher volume. As we mentioned before, previous semesters here at Hack4Impact have seen over 250 applications, and given the growing rate of our student org, this number is only projected to increase. And the current 33-page Google form is actually quite a tedious process. So this newer, more efficient, and easy to navigate application process can handle this projected increase in the application volume because it can reduce the drop-off rate of applicants. So basically what that means is that we're essentially looking at reducing the drop-off rate so that instead of dropping out through the application midway due to perceived difficulty, the applicant can actually follow through with the application. Thirdly, this also maximizes the efficiency. This will allow for overall greater efficiency in our recruitment process because then there's less time spent by the director of recruitment into individually managing each applicant, and instead we can focus this into finding more well-suited candidates and recruiting them for the organization. So overall, this leads for greater talent within Hack4Impact, and this allows for better projects and products coming out of Hack4Impact. That's all we had. Thank you.
Awesome. Having been on that application board, the optimal strategy is to have 4 windows pulled up at the same time. So you have to have 2 monitors, and it's really painful. So thank you so much. Coming up next is Camp Starfish. So they're one of the only camps for kids facing socio-emotional challenges that has a 1-to-1 camper to staff ratio. And super excited to tell you guys about what they've been working on this semester. And this is their first semester developing it. So I'll hand it off to the PMs. Take it away. Enjoy. You guys can do what you want with the clicker. Or
It works, like just the arrow. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, this one. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, we're Camp Starfish. So today, just to give you an overview, we're going to be going over what Camp Starfish is, the design process, our engineering, the impact of our project, and then our next steps. So team introduction, we're going to introduce ourselves as we go down the line, but I'm Maya, and I'm one of the PMs for this project.
So first off, here's some information about our NPO, Camp Starfish. Also, my name is Harshita. I'm the other PM on this project, and Camp Starfish is one of the few camps in the country that provides 1-to-1 staff to camper ratio for students with social, emotional development challenges. You know, every summer they support around 300 campers and help foster their growth through fun and nurturing group programs.
So currently they get about 1,500 photos each year, and they put them all in Google Drive in separate folders and separate them by camper. And for their scheduling system, they go into Google Sheets and manually put in what each camper will be doing for their schedule each day. So clearly this takes a lot of time and is very manual.
So here we have some testimonies from current Camp Starfish administration. So they say that this process that they currently use is very long, it's very tedious, and they have to sort through almost thousands of photos every single summer. And this makes it really hard for them to look back on all the memories that they've made throughout the camp.
So our goals for this project were to have staff be able to upload images and tag them based on the specific campers, and then for parents to only be able to see those specific pictures of their children. And then on the scheduling system side, we wanted to be able to create a schedule where admin can create and edit campers' preferences, and for staff to be able to see their schedules, and then also have conflict detection.
So our current solution is to create an application that would help reduce photo tagging time by almost 94%. Here, we're going to talk about the design process.
Hi, I'm Ria, and I'm one of the designers. So one of the biggest challenges we faced was organization. So how are we going to make something fully functional, easily accessible, and visually appealing? Well, taking a look at our wireframes, we decided that we wanted to sort the album based off year. So once the user knew which year they wanted to look at, they were able to see all the programs that were there within each year. And once they knew which program to look at, they were able to access all the photos that occurred in that program and were able to do different functions to it, such as sorting it, viewing them, adding tags, all of these different options which were dependent on who the user was. Another thing we had to consider was Camp Starfish's existing user data types. So this meant we had to consider different accessibility for each user and we also had to integrate different types of tools and visuals for each user flow. So we had 4 different types of users, which is photographers, admin, staff, and parents.
Moving on to branding and UI, we decided to expand upon Camp Starfish's existing branding with elements such as the color palette, typography, reusable components, layout grids, and breakpoints for responsive design across different desktop screen sizes. Once we had some of our designs established, we conducted some user testing through virtual interviews, and we also had a remote testing option through Google Forms for our users with busy schedules. Some of the methods we used were having our users run through tasks with prototypes that we created with Figma, which mimic the actual app and its functionalities. And we had them perform tasks such as finding an album, uploading photos, and also A/B testing, which is comparing 2 designs to each other when there's design ambiguity.
Hi, I'm Nishtha. As we got in responses from our forms and our interviews, the designers would sit together, convert them into design edits, and then present them to the entire team. So this was a good way for us to test some initial hypotheses that we had. And overall, we saw a lot of success with our design. Users reported being really intuitive and very well organized. Being said, we made some minimal changes. So for example, we changed our toolbar to be placed on the top right instead of the bottom center because of contrast issues.
Hi, my name is Nitin. I'm one of the tech leads on this team. So just a brief overview of our tech stack. The Camp Starfish application is a Next.js project using Tailwind CSS and TypeScript. And for our backend, we have Firebase, where we manage all our authentication, our database, our file storage, and our hosting and functions as well. Additionally, we had to integrate with CampMinder, which is how Camp Starfish currently runs their users or manages their users and sessions, and Ben will get more into that.
Yeah, so CampMinder is, really quickly, I'm Ben, the other tech lead for the team, and CampMinder is Camp Starfish's backbone for registration. Things like camper information, parent, as well as staff session registrations are stored here. Every user already has an account, and because of this, we use it for our authentication. Some challenges with CampMinder is the fact that the budget tier has no photos or API system. And in order to get access to this, you have to pay around $9,000 a year, which our solution kind of fixes for them.
Yeah, so my name's Tage. I'm one of the engineers. I work on the login page. So first it starts with the Google sign-in via our Firebase authentication, and then only users that are whitelisted by admins will be able to log into this. And so we also have a fallback link for people who want to register with Camp Starfish. And then our nav bar at the top remains empty until the user logs in. And our thing is fully responsive as well.
Hi, I'm Isha. I'm another engineer on the team. And so we're going to be moving on to the admin flow now. So this is the admin homepage, and you're immediately met with a customized greeting to show that user authentication was successful. And as for navigation, there's 3 main sections. There's albums, programs, and then there's campers. And then this is the albums page more in depth. So on the top right corner, you can see 3 main options you can choose from. So the first option opens up a sort dropdown where you can sort the albums by date. The next option leads you to the albums pending page where the staff can approve of pictures. And the third option will open up a create album modal.
Yeah, so my name is Ravon. I'm also an engineer, so more into the create album modal. So when you press the orange button on the top right corner of the albums page, it's going to open up this little modal where you have the option to upload a thumbnail for the album, a title, and then you have the option to create it. This modal is also responsive, so depending on whether you're creating or editing an album, you can change the thumbnail or the title as well.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm an engineer, and this is a singular album page where users can filter through images by selecting tags of campers' names and also sort images by date. The other buttons on the UI redirect users to a pending page where images have yet to be approved by admin, and finally, users can upload and download images from these albums. So this is the reusable tagging page component on the album page, and this is where users can select campers' names from a drop-down of names, and this is more efficient because instead of manually searching through text, users can simply consistently choose tags to choose from.
Hi, my name is Joel, and I'm also one of the engineers on this project. I work mainly on the file upload modal. Basically, there's a lot of images that we need to upload to these albums, and we want to have a streamlined system to do that. So we had one modal that handled all the images being uploaded. Users can just drag and drop the images inside, and it would automatically make sure they're the right file type and under the file size limit and upload them to the Firebase. And we can also reuse this component for handling CSV files from CampMinder and other types of file uploads.
Hi, I'm Galila. I'm another engineer. So in an album, when a user double-clicks on an image, the image view screen will appear, allowing them a closer look and interactability with a singular image. A user can see the image's metadata, including the name and any of the associated tags, as well as navigate between the next and previous image in an album and move and download the image. There's also role-based functionality implemented for the bottom section, as you can see. So admin and photographers are able to moderate the tag, so they can approve or deny it, and staff can see any approved tags.
Hello, my name is Advic, and one of the tasks I worked on as an engineer was the pending page. Like Claire mentioned before, it's a page that allows the admin to either approve or reject images, and they do this so that parents get the best possible images of their children. And as you can see, the images are grouped by album, and you can either individually approve or reject the images, or you can approve all of them where that confirmation modal will appear. And yeah.
So now we're moving on to the parent user flow. And this is the parent homepage where users again are greeted with a personalized greeting and message with navigation to the campers and albums features.
Hi, my name is Saharsh, and I'm another engineer on the team, and I'm going to be talking about the parent albums in the album page. So we created some functionality for the parents where they had the ability to sort the albums by date and download all the images for their from a certain album. Additionally, we made sure that the parents were only able to view albums and images that were tagged for their children to avoid confusion.
And this is the parent view of the image view screen. Parents can see the image metadata, including the name, and download any images that are under their child's tag. Notably, parents can't see any of the actual associated tags. All they can see is the report button at the bottom to report any issues to the Camp Starfish staff.
So going into the impact of our project, our MPO contact Lydia said that giving the families the chance to see the photos of their kids smiling truly makes a difference in all of the campers, families, and staff's lives.
All right, so what's next for Camp Starfish? So at the beginning of this presentation, Maya and Harshita mentioned the problem of scheduling, activity scheduling for this team, for Camp Starfish, and that is going to be primarily what we're working on next semester. So the current way that they do scheduling is very complicated. They have like a 20-page slideshow just outlining all the constraints that need to be met while doing the scheduling. And this semester, we've laid the groundwork for ensuring that that is very easy to work on next semester. And it was a challenge doing that because we had to ensure that all the different constraints were taken into consideration, including security levels, as well as mapping things onto Firestore collections. It's complex.
So our next steps are to, like Nitin said, create the scheduling algorithm, make sure the designs are interactive, and overall put it all together to create a scheduling system that implements the conflicts that the staff have. Thank you.
Amazing. I was actually listening in on their conversation. Did you guys take our clicker? Nah, it's over there. Okay, cool. I was actually listening in on the conversation from their point of contact before this call, and they were saying some amazing things and how thankful they are and how amazing it looks and how grateful they are for all that work. Their whole team is super appreciative, so that's awesome. Up next, last but not least, the Children's Cancer Foundation has given away $43 million in grants to researchers often in the DMV area that are researching cancers that often affect children. And they have a variety of grants that they give out. And our team has developed a platform for managing these grants and reviewing them and all that great stuff. And I'm super excited for them to tell you about that. Awesome.
So we are the Children's Cancer Foundation team, and we're going to start off by briefly introducing ourselves. So I am Steven. I'm one of the PMs on this team.
And I'm Valentina, and I'm the other PM.
I'm Tracy. I'm one of the designers.
I'm Jennifer. I'm the other designer.
I'm Jacob. I'm a tech lead.
I'm Arnav. I'm one of the tech leads.
I'm Indra, one of the engineers.
I'm Avishi. I'm also one of the engineers.
I'm Eileen. I'm another engineer.
I'm Hanish, another engineer.
I'm Pooja. I'm also an engineer.
I'm Ryan, also an engineer.
And I'm Just, an engineer.
Not standing up here with us, someone who just talked earlier is Javid, who is our Microsoft mentor. Oh, my voice is really loud. So a little bit about our lovely NPO. So the Children's Cancer Foundation is a nonprofit organization that raises and distributes funds for local pediatric cancer researchers and programs that improve the lives of children fighting cancer and their families. Since 1983, CCF has raised over $43 million for children fighting cancer, and each year they distribute over $1 million in cancer research grants, which is what our platform handles. So to sort of describe the need for our platform, let's look into CCF's current process. So currently, CCF manages grant applications fully manually. Applications and reviews are all communicated and sent via email, and application management occurs in a single Excel spreadsheet. As you may imagine, as someone who lives in spreadsheets, it's quite tedious and oftentimes not scalable.
All right, so we are a 2-semester project, and this is the second semester. At the beginning of last semester, we outlined our goals for our online grant application portal. Specifically, we split it into 3 portions to represent the 3 types of users who will be using the portal. First is the applicant, who is anyone who is seeking to apply to one of these grants. Next is a reviewer who is responsible for reviewing the applications. And then finally is the admin side, which is where CCF can essentially manage all of this. All right, so last semester, we created the foundation for almost the majority of our online grant review system. And then in terms of implementation, we focused primarily on the applicant and reviewer sides. Specifically, we created the main dashboards and setting pages for both the applicant and reviewers. For the applicants, we also created the individual application pages for each of CCF's types of applications. They have 3. And we created the front end for the sort of results page of their application. For the reviewer end, we also created the front end for the actual application review itself. And we also created designs for a database feature that the reviewers and admin will have access to, which is essentially a database of all previous applications.
So starting with the designer's overview, for the colors and fonts, we stuck with the current existing colors and fonts on the CCF website, as well as the theme. We tried to kind of mimic the existing website, as well as our existing wireframes from last semester.
In regards to research, the biggest thing was really understanding the grant process so that we could make sure that we covered all of the features that they needed and to make their transition from their current system to this database as seamlessly as possible. In regards to obstacles, we did our best to keep consistent communications as we held bi-weekly meetings with the NPOs, but sometimes getting live feedback when Jennifer and I needed it was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
So starting with our designs, we have here the view accounts page and the award recommendations page, which both have a similar UI to them, a table UI. So for the view accounts page, it was really important to be able to have their names, their affiliation, and their emails. So administration would have the ability to kind of search for accounts and also delete accounts when needed. For the award recommendations, it was important to have the specific program type, and then also filter by the score that the reviewers gave them. And that administration also had the ability to look at comments that reviewers made.
One of the biggest things for the admin side, at least, is the dashboard page, which allows them to see all the applications from their previous cycles, and you can also filter it to find it faster. And the other page is the assign reviewers, which allows admins to designate specific individuals to specific applications and allow them to score. It also allows you to see the status of these reviews.
So as tech leads, a lot of our job was to keep everything moving smoothly on the technical end. So we designed and assigned the tasks to break down what we needed to get done into manageable pieces for our engineers to tackle. And we also assisted these engineers, providing technical advice and assistance as they worked on those tasks.
We also defined and clarified standardized data types to create a unified structure for all the applications so we don't have conflicts later on. We deployed secure backend functions and security rules to our backend to ensure proper access of data and correct action restrictions. And we applied our technical expertise when necessary to fix bugs and enhance critical components.
So as one of the engineers this semester, a few of the contributions I've been able to make was one, building our application review page, which basically allows applicants to review and edit their applications at any time needed. I also worked a little bit on the security side where I created global password validation and checks, which basically just ensures normal common compliance throughout the code base. And I also worked to create a backend function to get user applications, which allows our reviewers to review all relevant applications from any specific users. And when it comes to challenges faced, one challenge I faced was throughout the semester having multiple tasks at the same time. So I really had to work to prioritize my tasks, not to block any other engineers from completing their tasks. And I also helped enforce our best practices guide to ensure that my code was easily understandable and reusable by other engineers.
I'm also one of the engineers, so what I worked on was building the reviewer assignment page that would enable the efficient distribution of all the applications to the appropriate reviewers. I also developed the conditional post-grant page that adapts based on the applicant status, so any applicants with approved grants would get guided to this page so they can tell us how they've been using the grant that we provided them. And then I also implemented the different settings pages based on user roles to provide the appropriate access. And then some of the challenges I faced, one of the biggest ones I actually faced was getting my backends function to work on my device because Firebase was not complying with what I had. So I worked with the tech leads and Javid to make sure that my backend was finally working. And then another thing that was a challenge was that maintaining consistent coding standards because there's so many of us that are working on this project. We had to make sure we had a shared structure to ensure cohesiveness.
As another engineer on the team, this semester I worked on implementing a lot of the pages, starting out from the create account page. Some of the changes that I made was, for example, uploading pictures to Firebase, again, keeping our NPO in mind and making sure that they can make any changes necessary. Shout out again to Javid for all your help. And another page I worked on was the grant awards page, which basically just allowed admins to manage all of the award info with helpful AI and UI and making sure that the theming fit with our application. Another big page that I built was view all accounts, which basically just lets the admin see all the accounts for the users. And it also supported things like downloading all the information, for example, as a CSV, making sure that everything is cohesive in the application. Some of the challenges that I faced as I was building my components was just making sure that it fit with our designs, which are changing, making sure that we were getting everything done in our short time frames, along with making sure that as our application really grew and changed, that the components could be reused and making sure that everything fit together.
All right, so this is, as mentioned earlier, this is the second semester of our project, so we are beginning to wrap up. And the impact that our project has had is that it will be able to significantly streamline CCF's application management operations. So firstly, we've tried to focus really strongly on having an intuitive, user-friendly, and scalable application management system. And additionally, with our system, CCF will be able to centralize all aspects of each application cycle by storing current and past applications and applicant data within a single database. And this will essentially allow CCF to very easily oversee and manage their application system as compared to the previous having to coordinate everything over emails and Excel spreadsheets. And it will also allow reviewers to efficiently store feedback and reviews by directly linking them to the relevant application for streamlined access.
So that is the end of our presentation. A massive thank you to everyone for listening, and shout out to Lauren from CCF and her family who has joined us today in Erib. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It looks great. Great work. So, all that being said, it is now time for about 20 minutes of project showcase demos. So as you can see here, we're going to have bootcamp, the different bootcamp teams working down the middle, and all the different projects positioned accordingly, as you can see up here. And everyone is going to be able to walk around and just enjoy everything that we've built, check it all out. And then after that, we're going to have some other fun stuff and eventually pizza. We'll get there. But first, showcase. So everyone move to your spots and start getting your presentations ready.
All right, hello everyone. It's time. We had a crazy semester of Pixels, and I have some stats for you all. Not stats, but I have a review of this semester because this was a semester very different from any other. We were involved so much with all of our partners, sponsors, the nonprofits that we work with. We had the first ever UMD Pixels marathon where like 100 people posted to UMD Pixels yesterday, and overall it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And for people who don't know, Pixels is our way to reward participation in all of the events that we do. So we have done our first ever internal hackathon. Hack4Thon was this semester. We had over 200 coffee chats this entire year. 155 of them came this semester. Coffee chats was insane this semester. We had 2-person, 3-person, 4-person coffee chats this semester. Absolutely insane. And of course, you know about Hack for Good. We had, we're going on a 5th and a 6th Food for All volunteering experience, and we went to another one of our NPOs. And this just shows the dedication that we, like all of our members are more than just building a product for an NPO. We are getting involved, and we are showing that we care about the partnerships that we have. And for example, the past 2 semesters, FFA, Graeme, Peter have come to our showcase. They are clearly dedicated to this partnership, and I'm so glad that so many of you wanted to share that dedication and do good and volunteer with them this semester. And in total, last semester I gave out 165,000 pixels. We went crazy. 260,000 pixels, on average over 2,000 per member, which is insane. And we got some prizes for y'all. I'll have our co-execs hold them up as I reveal. We got Stanley Cups. Let's hold up some Stanley Cups. We got 2 of them, let's go. All right. We also have some extra merch. We got one medium hoodie and a bunch of quarter zips for merch. Yes, yes. Yeah. Additionally, we have a 24-inch LG monitor. All right. And last but not least, we have an absolute tank of a 9-in-1 air fryer. Yeah. So the way that it's gonna work, something that I've been really obsessed with this semester has been the wheel. The wheel that if you spin it and it lands on you, you get 500 pixels. I have created my magnum opus, the ultimate wheel that is weighted for everyone's pixels. And now I'm going to display it for you all and show you what this looks like. Hold on. Wow, look at this. So we have every person who has gotten pixels is on this wheel. And the way it's gonna work is if it lands on your name, you get to come up here and pick a prize, all right? Wait, hold on. I think there's music. I don't know if it'll play. Actually, I don't think I have MIDI, so we're just gonna spin it, and we got a long spin this time. We got some suspense, but it could literally land on anyone. I might. All right, maybe I should have turned it down a little bit. We're gonna start spinning the second one the moment the person here starts walking up for the prizes, all right? All right, it's almost over. Who's it gonna land on? Who's it gonna land on?
Oh, wow. Nah. No. What? No way! Wait! No! Oh my gosh! What? Oh my gosh! What prize is it gonna be? You have until the next wheel finishes spinning to pick the prize. Pick it. That was crazy. Are you kidding me? And a monitor it is! All right. So, that was absolutely insane. I was actually making the wheel with Prakar, and he made me spin it, and then I was like, wait, but what if it lands on you? And then we were like, that would be bad luck. And it never landed on him. We were like, it was saving for tomorrow. Wait. No way. Wait. No way. Wait, it's still going. Steven, again, our Pixels champ from last semester has won again. Come on up. And we will be spinning the wheel. How many more times? 4 more times? I don't know. You give
well, all right. Let's see. All right. Steven, what's it gonna be? The air fryer, all right. So we got 2 Stanley Cups, and should we, wait, for sake of, should we do 1 merch or 2 merch? Should we do 3 more? 2 merch, all right, 4 more spins, including this one. The suspense is gonna be like, everyone's gonna be suspensed out after this. All right, we got our 2 leaders. Sophie and Nitin were the 2 leaders. If they don't win, that's gonna be such a shame. Oh. Wait. Claire! All right. Oh, okay. And in case you haven't caught on, the 8,000 is how many pixels she got this semester. So, yeah, so Laksha had 1,200. Steven had, 6,000? Yeah. And Yeah, 8,000. I think you were what, 6th? 7th. Okay, so you were 7th. Yeah, there we go. We got someone on the leaderboard. But don't worry, we still have merch and Stanley Cups. Will any more leaderboard people win? All right, and a Stanley Cup it'll be. All right, I might have to just actually turn this down low key. Oh wait, when did this? Verify. Hold on. Hold on. I actually have music too. Hey. All right. Pooja! Wow, that was that close to Jack.
We got baited. Come on up here, Pooja.
Come on up. All right. Pooja was at Hack4Thon along with Claire, and Steven, which means if you go to Hack4Thon, you win pixels. That's basically like the pattern I see here. What's it gonna be? What's gonna be? We got. All right, we got one merch gone, which means we still have a quarter zip and a Stanley Cup. Speaking of the Stanley Cup, NHL playoffs going on right now. Anyways, who's gonna be? Who's gonna be? Wait.
I want one of the thin strips.
Oh yeah, what?
It's rigged!
Wait, wait.
Oh!
All right. Oh. I just had a coffee chat with Ohm. I think that's what got him the extra space to get this win. All right, last spin. This is the last one until December. That's so sad. That's so sad. Woo! We got merch. We got a quarter zip. We got a quarter zip. We should do a Slack channel called like UMD Daily Wheel Spin, and like every day there's a wheel spin.
Bro loves.
I love the wheel. I love the wheel. It's pixels. It's pixels. Don't worry. All right, the last one. Who's gonna get a quarter zip? We'll see. Yeah, if you could like resell. I think they got a good resale price. I can't lie.
Crazy on
Yeah.
rails.
I feel like this has been the same spin like 3 times in a row.
No suspense.
Oh, also you have to be here. If it lands on someone who's not here, they can't win. Wait, 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 wait!
Oh my God!
Oh, it's about 500! 500! Wait. She got 500 pixels for bootcamp graduation. That's crazy. Yeah! All right. And now I'll pass it back to our execs for graduating seniors. Wait, you can't. You have to be in the line.
Yeah, I'll be in line.
All right, let's start some music and let's get this going. Here we go.
Hey, if you're up there, come line up. Come on.
Yeah, everyone come down one by one if you're up there.
In order.
Yeah.
Get in line.
I need like some help though. Hey Parsa, can you like help me out?
Just get in order.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Come on.
Do you like mind like giving like the?
Go. Bubble sort your way up here. Which side's the front? This is the front, right? Starting at me. Get behind me. Ari in there. We got it.
All right. First starting out with Aaron Sang, who's been a member for 8 semesters. Yeah.
Started with Aaron.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing an order.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
All right, get it, guys.
Give it back.
Sure, just line up down this hall. Do that, yeah. I'll get in order too.
Okay.
I think like right. Oh yeah. Look, you not. Yeah. Okay. Are we ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Are you cheesing so much? All right. First off, with. All right, we're gonna. Is it on? Yeah, it's on. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna first start with Aryan Patel, who's been in the org for how many years?
2 full years.
2 full years. Yeah. All right.
Graduating, I forgot to fill the form.
Yeah. No, not here. All right, next up is Akash Patil, who's been in the semester for how long? For in the year?
7 semesters.
7 semesters. Next up, Anthony Ma, who's our director of product and has been in the org for how many semesters?
6 semesters.
Shout out to Anthony. Next, Aaron, been in the org for 8 semesters. Director of product. Now we have Benjamin Nicholas Lacey, who's been in the org for 1 semester. Next up, Brandon Newman, Chief of Events, who's been in the org for 4 semesters. Next up, we have Chris, who's been in the org for 4 semesters. Next up, we have Daniel, who's been in the org for 1 semester. Next up, we have Eileen, who's been in the org for 2 semesters. Next up, Ryan Zank, who's been in the org for 2 semesters. Shout out to you. Oh yeah. Wanna like swap the roles? Swap the roles? Yeah? Okay. All right. You wanna like
Next up, we have Sheldon, who's been in the org for 7 semesters.
Next up, we have Soon, who's been in the org for 1 semester. Next up, we have Galila, who's been in the org for as long as me, yeah, 6 semesters. Next up, we have Jacob, who's been in the org for 6 semesters. Next up, we have Just, who's been in the org for 2 semesters. Next up, we have Laksha, who's been in the org for 4 semesters. Next up, we have Megan, who's been in the org for 5 semesters. Next up, Tony, our director of engineering, who's been in the org for how many semesters? 5 semesters. Next up, we have Will Josh, who's been in the org for 3 semesters. And lastly, Ren, who's our senior advisor, former co-exec from last year, who's been in the org for 8 semesters. All right, thank you all to our seniors. We're so appreciative of your longevity and commitment to the org.
Start it off. Guys, very sad moment here.
Wait. Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon, the director of events. You two could sit down, please. So you might have realized I didn't have any walk-in music. The wheel was like, I told you the wheel was coming. There were no surprises in this meeting. So I figured I had to do one last one. So I have a separate slide. Hold on, it's loading. It's the same as the other slides, but, hold on, I gotta like set up for this. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't know what this is.
As you all know from this showcase and from being a part of the org this semester, we have grown like crazy, and I think that this showcase was really good and you all did amazing. And clearly, like, we have like done so much, and like people who come to events, like I got to meet everyone this semester and it's been so good. And the board, and especially Richard and Sheldon, are like a huge part of this. And so, like I said, I have one more surprise because they have worked so hard. And when we were in Seattle, Richard came like 2 days later than Sheldon. And for like a lot of the time, Sheldon was like, oh, that's my main man. I'm always with him. I miss him right now. For 2 days without him, and he was missing. Like, they do so much together, and they work so hard. They make up for all my mistakes, and I'm sure the rest of the board members as well. But they do so much. And so from the board, the rest of the board, we have one last surprise because you are graduating. You will not be here next semester. So we wanted to get you something that you could keep forever. And so, wait, hold on. There's like a thing that's about to happen. And so, we have a surprise for you. The board, we got picture frames for you all with this picture on it so that you could keep this moment when you are out in the world. We could, if you want to take it out, they're nice frames. They're very nice frames. So we have, yeah. So this is a photo. Thank you, sir. So we have a photo this is from last final project showcase, and I think it was just such a good picture. And hold on, open it up. Yeah. So now, even though you won't be here next semester, you'll always be able to remember this year and all the work that you were together. So, and so we planned this behind your backs, and now I will actually pass it back to you so you could share your big sincere thank you to everyone here. Yeah.
Gosh. Thank you so much. Dang, that's so nice. Yeah, Richard and I care a lot about the organization, and you guys keep thanking us. And I was thinking about this. Everyone's like keeps saying thank you to me or Richard, and it's like it's literally not us. Like, I don't think we honestly do that much. I really think it's our board and everybody in the organization. Not trying to be sappy. I'm just being serious. Like, you guys are the reason why we are able to do what we do. We just kind of try to give directions using our knowledge, and we're not really ahead of you guys. We're the same age, right? So I don't know what I'm doing. Richard doesn't know what he's doing. Sorry, we don't know what we're doing. And so, but we're so thankful for you guys for having trusted us, and it's so amazing what you guys have done, the trajectory of the organization from where I started 7 semesters ago in like February of 2022, how much it's changed. It wouldn't be possible without you guys in the org, our directors. Thank you, all of our directors, everyone. I'm so excited for what's coming up, and this is so nice. Like, I'm like a very sentimental person. I have like a box full of things that mean a lot to me, multiple boxes, and this won't even fit. It's going to overflow out of it. So I'm going to get a new box and put this in. I'll hang this up. I'm not putting it in a box. Yeah, okay. But yeah, thank you so much. I feel so like, this is so nice. Okay, but thank you guys. Seriously, I'm so excited to see what you guys all do with your future. Let's all stay connected on LinkedIn and everything like that, of course. And this is such an amazing way to send off. I'm so sad to be going. I'm almost done yapping. So sad to be going. Super happy to be sending it off in good hands. And wow, that's so sad. Okay, cool. I'll hand it off to Richard. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. So sweet. That's so nice. Oh.
Yeah, to echo Sheldon's point, I really don't think we do too much compared to all the work that our board does. I want to name everyone who's on our board. So Akash, Tony, Brandon, Parsa, Anthony, Aaron. I think I said Akash already. Anke, Gavin, Krishnan up there. Ren, Davina, who was our director of design. Nathan, didn't forget about you. Hopefully I didn't forget anyone else. And of course Sheldon. Like, this guy, like, he's like my inspiration. He's like a year older than me, and like I look up to him the most, which goes for like career-wise and being a better leader, better speaker. I don't think I would be able to stand up here and without like his like guidance and advice on, you know, how to speak to people and audiences as large as, you know, this right here. And so I'm really thankful for Sheldon. I'm really sad that he's like, you know, leaving, but you know, of course we're gonna, you know, stay in touch, and I'm gonna hang that up, you know, on my in my room.
I'm thankful for Richard too.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention that. Like, this is my goat. I forgot to mention that. Okay, I didn't say that enough, but I'm sure you guys can tell.
Yeah.
We got good chemistry.
Yeah, but like this guy like works so much. Like I'm gonna just say, like, during spring break, like, bro was like on vacation and he was still working on some slides. I think Javid's, yeah, he's like right there.
I was drinking mimosas and Javid's like the workshop, the VM that's hosting the workshop isn't running and stuff like that. So I was fixing it. And with my mimosa and stuff, I joined the call. But it's okay. That's not Javid's fault. I corrupted it by failing to prepare it properly before trying to scale it. I didn't prep it properly. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I try my hardest. But Richard, when I'm grinding and getting hyper fixated on things, he's responding to emails. He's responding to nationals requests for finance stuff. So like we're good at our different things, you know. And this is my goat too.
And thank you. And lastly, you know, just like you all, so I joined my first semester in college, and the people that I've met, I mean, I'm really grateful for all the, you know, all the connections and people that I've met. I really felt that I had a place, like a home at, at UMD, in a school of what's that, 3,800 undergrads. I'm really grateful that this is my home, and I'm just like so happy for like all the work that you all have done this semester, and I'm so happy for the next board, Aryan and Krishna leading the way, and you know, taking Hack4Impact to new heights. So thank you all so much.
So